for this opportunity.
Thank you, Jen. We'll get a look at him first as the Falcons will kick off. They won the toss and deferred. Meanwhile, the Falcons in the NFC South chasing the undefeated Carolina Panthers, who have a sizable lead late over the Packers of 37-20, and the Saints in a tight one with Tennessee down in New Orleans as you see the standings. Ellington and Patton back to receive. And Gabbert said he was surprised. He got the phone call Monday that he was going to take over as the starting quarterback. 49er fans anxious to get a look as Matt Bosher, the punter for Atlanta. Week 9 underway. Falcons and 49ers, and Sales for a touchback. Here comes San Francisco on offense, and the running back situation a mess as well, and so are the receivers. But for Gabbert, whose last win came back in 2012, his last start with Jacksonville in 2013.
Well, Jen mentioned his preseason tape, and when I watched it, he showed some of the traits that he didn't have in Jacksonville. He had poise. He was confident with the football. He'll need to do that today if he's going to get this offense moving here in San Francisco.
Kaepernick ran out with him, was by him throughout pregame warm-ups.
Illegal snap, offense. The center picked up the football, placed it back on the ground. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's not the way to help out a quarterback who's trying to revive his career and the team, but Tony Corrente calling a penalty right away on the 49ers.
Well, this is a, can I say it, a picky penalty? I mean, I think that happens on every single snap of every single game.
You mean the center sliding the football? Sean Drone, who they picked up just this week, is the running back. Been with 8 teams on 7 different rosters, was more recently with Cleveland. Kendall Gaskins had to come in last week. Carlos Hyde, their leading rusher, has remained injured. We'll also see Pierre Thomas, the former Saint, who was signed a day after Drone this week. Patton in place of the injured Bolden. And on the offensive line, the left side has played a lot better than the right side. Second and 11. Gabbert on the move, dumps it off. That's Bruce Ellington, who gets up back to what was the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard more inside the 21, where it'll bring up third down.
That was a good job by Ellington to make something out of nothing there.
Right, it is Atlanta defense, only 10 sacks, but they are going to adjust some things to try and apply more pressure today against Gabbert. And in the secondary, William Moore and Robert Alford inactive. So Jalen Collins, the rookie, on one corner. San Francisco may try and take advantage. Gabbert, his first third down test. Hesitates, completes. And that's the tight end who will be well short of the first down Vance McDonald brought down. And it's a punting situation.
Well, you want to say you're looking for positiveness on the first drive, and didn't really see it there. Started with the penalty on that first play, which I didn't really like. But Blaine Gabbert took care of the football on 2 of his throws. Keep an eye on this offensive line. If they're able to protect him, if he's able to get the ball out on this day, then maybe they will have a much better showing.
And we'll keep an eye on punter Bradley Pinion, 5th-round choice from Clemson. He's been really inconsistent and bothered by a calf injury, but drives this one deep. Weems backing up to the Atlanta 15. And Weems gets 8 of that back, where the Falcon offense will take over just beyond the 27-yard line. Matt Ryan having another outstanding year despite some of the turnovers lately, and you talked about how he wants to be aggressive and finish, but he talked about having that killer instinct. That's what's cost him in these last couple of games where they haven't played well.
You'll show killer instinct when you score points on drives into the red zone. Weren't able to do that last week. We'll see if that changes today.
After the 58-yard punt, first down pass is complete. Devontae Freeman slips a tackle, gets up near a first down. He leads the NFL in rushing. He also has 40 catches for this Falcon team, second on the team, and the leading receiver, not only on the team but in the NFL, is Julio Jones with 70 catches, and told us this is the healthiest he has been all year. Mike Person back healthy at the center spot. It was a first down pickup to the 38. Falcons with a 1st and 10. Matt Ryan with time. Open is Julio Jones. His 71st catch of the year and a first down at the 46 of San Francisco. The players up front on defense for the 49ers, maybe the steadiest crew out through the course of this season. They've played well defensively at home despite the 2-6 record. Navarro Bowman takes in the defensive signals, leads the team in tackles. 3 of the top 4 corners on this team are injured, so players like Cromartie and Dante Johnson pressed into duty. Freeman works his way down to about the 40.
How about your first task as a starting corner in this league is Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, not to mention Devontae Freeman, but these 2 corners, these 2 young corners, both of them who haven't had any snaps really during the regular season. Big duty today trying to stop number 11.
Second down, Freeman. Ryan fakes and throws low and incomplete to his tight end, Jacob Tamme. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Well, good start for this Atlanta offense, obviously, with the passing game. You know that the offensive coordinator and Matt Ryan love to throw the football. They run the ball almost reluctantly sometimes, even though they have the best running back in football. Well, let's see what they got here on their first challenge of the week.
Statistically, Devontae Freeman, I think Adrian Peterson would argue with that.
I don't know. We can talk about that during the course of the game. This kid's been special all year.
He's only 5'8" in his 2nd year, Devontae Freeman. On 3rd and 4, Matt Ryan, pressure coming, and he flips the completion to Freeman, who's got the first down and goes out of bounds.
And this is what I love about Devontae Freeman. In the backfield, obviously, he's been special this year, leading the league in rushing. But as a receiver for Matt Ryan, an outlet, you'll see a lot of balls go to him quickly out of the backfield. He's able to pick up big yardage there for first down.
Actually wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year. That was Tevin Coleman, but then a rib injury allowed him to step in. He did have a great preseason, and he was healthy throughout. Dan Quinn said he'd been a starter from the beginning. Freeman has been a dominant figure offensively, and here the 49ers knock him back to the 30.
Well, I think Devontae Freeman, minus that injury in the preseason, was going to be the starter here in Atlanta. Dan Quinn was saying it was without question that he was the better of the 2 backs. But the injury opened up room for Tevin Coleman, and when he got hurt, he had the opportunity to get back in there. And look, those 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 8 games, that's just spectacular.
Tevin Coleman checks in at running back. Ryan has it complete. The coverage was very good. Again, trying to go to Jacob Tamme and Jaquaski Tart, the rookie starting safety on the play.
Jaquaski Tart is a rookie in this secondary. He's a big hitter. And you see Tamme. He comes out.
Did not hear replay, no replay, so I'm not hearing that.
Nice pass breakup.
3rd and 10, an early test for the 49er defense. Teron Ward comes in as the back. Matt Ryan with time completes the pass to Tamme, who's thrown down short of the first down. It'll be a long field goal. Jimmy Ward, one of those players just called off the practice squad, making the tackle, and this will be a 44-yard attempt in that range for Matt Ryan. 11 of 14 this year. He's made from 47. Bosher, the holder, and the 40-year-old Matt Ryan to try and give the visiting Falcons the first quarter lead. The kick. And Matt Bryant delivers. 12 out of 15, and Dan Quinn has the early advantage over Jim Tomsula.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
26-year-old Blaine Gabbert making his 28th NFL start, his first with the 49ers. Opening drive stalled, an early penalty, but some background on a guy who said it was like a gut punch, being the 10th overall pick in Jacksonville, but then being out of work. Actually, San Francisco trading a 6th-round draft pick a couple of seasons ago to bring him here. Played well in the preseason, has gotten better in practice every day, according to the coaching staff, and thus gets the start over the struggling Kaepernick and 49er offense. Bosher to boot it. Ellington is going to bring it out. Bruce Ellington gets a good block. And Bruce Ellington all the way up across the 30, setting up San Francisco's offense with good field position. 49ers haven't scored a touchdown in 2 games. They hope that this return will give them a good start, trailing 3-0.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Sean Drone the back, second opportunity for the 49ers and Gabbert. Gabbert to throw, has time, and is on target, but Torrey Smith couldn't hold it. The rain has let up for a moment here. This turf is a little bit slick, but that's a ball that should have been caught.
Should have been caught, should have been completed. A little bit of a poor throw by Blaine Gabbert. But I'm interested today to see how this kid reacts once he gets hit in the mouth for the first time. Obviously, Atlanta is not a great pass rushing team, but one of the knocks on him is that he couldn't stand in the pocket and deliver. We're going to see it today.
Drone with the carry. It's up near the 40-yard line, waived by Cleveland in October, signed by the 49ers on Monday. And this backfield, I mean, has been pieced together with Mike Davis going on the injured list, surgery for Reggie Bush, also the punt returner. So Drone and Pierre Thomas added this week. And you worry about pass protection in this situation, too, with a guy like Gabbert on 3rd and 6. It's a whistle, and it's a no play on the snap.
There is no play. Timeout. Atlanta. This is their first.
Falcons will have 2 timeouts remaining in the first half, something Dan Quinn didn't like.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor, only at Pizza Hut.
Dan Quinn calling the timeout, didn't like the arrangement of his defense, so now it's 3rd and 6, 2 timeouts remaining in the half for Atlanta. Gabbert with time again in the pocket, and into coverage, incomplete. Jerome Simpson the target, and the worst offense in the NFL is off to that kind of start. Statistically so far, that's the way it's been for Jim Tomsula and San Francisco, regardless of the quarterback.
Dan Quinn made a smart timeout before that play. They running some new packages, and it looked like there was some confusion to me on the field, but got them lined up. Trufant, who was one of the great young corners in this league, makes a play to get him off on 3rd down.
And Pinion, who had a 58-yarder the last time, another solid kick. Weems inside the 10, up across the 20. Eric Weems is loose for Atlanta. The punter knocks him down at midfield.
Fantastic tackle by Bradley Pinion, but what a run returned by Eric Weems.
A 41-yard return after a 52-yard punt.
Well, he's really good at making people miss, and everybody in Atlanta knows this is supposed to be Devin Hester's job, but he's on IR designated to return, and one-on-one with the punter, he's going to take some ribbing when he gets to the sideline. Come on. But what a great play, saving a touchdown for the 49ers defense there. Give him some grass to defend here.
In any opinion, that could have been a touchdown-saving play. From midfield, Freeman slips a tackle in the backfield, and that is brought down. It'll be a loss of 5. Marcus Cromartie came in after a missed tackle and made the stop. Tart got there first.
Well, his initial penetration, you'll see Cromartie right there bailing at the line of scrimmage by Tart. Just a miss, and should make that tackle, but for a guy that hasn't played, brought up to the team to start. What a great play from him. Good confidence builder for a young player.
Spotted inside the Atlanta 46. On second down, quick pass is complete to Julio Jones and met right away. Knocked backwards, hard to get on the play. Let's get a game break. Check in with Mike Hill.
All right, guys, excitement in New Orleans. Titans and Saints in overtime. Marcus Mariota rolling right, goes back left. Anthony Fasano, 5-yard score, and the Titans get their first win since week 1, 34-28.
And that's Mike Mularkey, who took over for the Flyer Ken Wisenhunt. Meanwhile, Carolina has an 8-point lead with 3.5 minutes left against the Packers.
Big third down here for San Francisco's defense. Started fast, got off the field. See if they can do it again here.
49ers jump. Ryan hoping for the free play. Flips the ball in the air to Tammy. It was an ugly looking play from the start.
The play was ruled as a forward pass.
Looked like Aaron Lynch.
Offside, defense number 59 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty and repeat, third down.
You talk about penalties all the time, pre-snap penalties, and Aaron Lynch is right here in your screen. You just cannot do this. Your defense has started off pretty fast. I know you're anxious to get a rush on this quarterback in a third and long situation, but that 5 yards gives them a much more manageable opportunity here.
Ward in the backfield, and now 3rd and 5. Julio Jones, bottom of your screen. Matt Ryan looks one way and is going to go down in a swarm of red. And Aaron Lynch was onside this time on the side of the Falcons backfield with the quarterback sack.
Well, there could have been a bunch of people here. Aaron Lynch is up here at the top of your screen now, changed to the other side of the field, and just a swarm of defenders there. Armstead, Lynch, anybody could have got in on that sack. And again, I told you, they're starting fast here in Carolina on defense. You get off on third down again.
Matt Bosher, second in the NFL with a gross punting average of just under 50. Did have a block punt this year. And Bruce Ellington standing inside the 49er 10.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, and remains fourth down.
You wonder if that was intentional, maybe to try and set up something inside the 20 and not kick the punt for a touchback.
Could be, but I think 5 yards forward from this would have been just as fine to hit a ball inside the 20.
What did Dan Quinn tell us about penalties here? He said he was upset about last week the number of pre-snap penalties that this team worked on all week.
You know, with Atlanta this year and the games that they've struggled, it's been the self-inflicted wounds, and had a couple here.
Bosher's kick, waved for fair catch, just beyond the 50. So it worked out well for Atlanta. Inside the 20 is where they will take over. San Francisco will on offense after the 49er defense did its job. The benching of Kaepernick this week, his 28th birthday on Tuesday, ends a string of 47 straight starts. Remember, he took over for Alex Smith back in 2012 and took the team to a Super Bowl as drone carries. And he said when his coach said, Tom Sula, it's 100% my decision. I want the guy to step back. It's not all his fault. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Just, take a breather. Kaepernick said, I don't need a breather. My breath's fine.
Well, there was a lot of things going wrong in this 49ers offense, but he was certainly part of the equation. It was indecision, exasperated by inaccuracy, and I tell you, you make the change at quarterback to see if anything will spark this offense.
Drone carries. Tough yards to the 20, and again without Carlos Hyde. We mentioned he's injured again with a foot problem. They have the bye week. They were hoping he might be able to return this week, so he's looking on. You've got Anquan Bolden, your leading receiver, who remains inactive with a hamstring. So you're right, Ron, it wasn't all Kaepernick, but from what you saw, and you studied quarterbacks when you played in the secondary, he was just missing open passes.
Yeah, and it's some inexcusable misses, taking sacks when he should not have taken sacks. And there's a bunch of high-profile plays from last week's game that I think really pushed their hand.
Gabbard, after a couple of runs, is on the move, throws on the run and completes to Quentin Patton. Patton waiting for a block inside the 40 of Atlanta.
Atlanta does not blitz a lot, but watch the middle linebacker come square through here, but it's not talked about a lot. Blaine Gabbert is an athlete, a great athlete actually, and getting out of the pocket and having the patience and the poise. This is what we're going to try to see from him today to deliver that ball to Patton. What a big play for this offense early.
A confidence boost for Gabbert. Patton has a catch now in each of the last 8 games he's played. Got the start today for Bolden. Gabbert will keep. He's got running ability. Gets a block. Gets out of bounds. And looks like that may be enough for another San Francisco first down.
Well, I said in the open, you're looking for a spark. 2 plays in a row, you're seeing a spark from Blaine Gabbert. The play out of the backfield, but then the boot, get the defense completely committed over there. And yeah, he could have stepped up and thrown that ball, but he knew he had the legs to get there. Another big play for the offense.
Gabbert is 6'4", 235 pounds, not afraid to take on defenders or carry the football. And this is Drone again, who gets a hole and runs into a defender in the secondary, and maybe enough for another first down, and it is.
Isn't it amazing, Chris, what a little change, a little bit of decisiveness can do for an offense. Seeing 3 plays in a row where San Francisco hasn't had this type of production in weeks.
A gain of 11 and a good mix of run pass for San Francisco, trailing by 3, just over 2 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. It's Sean Drone, and he'll be shoved backwards this time. The Falcons closing in on the 27-year-old running back Paul Soliai from his tackle spot, making the tackle.
This Atlanta defensive front, they're number 3 in the league in rushing yards allowed per game. Got some big bodies up there. Today, though, I think we'll see a little bit of mix of some things. Adrian Claiborne, Vic Beasley, we'll see them on first and second down some. And when they need to stop the run, expect those big bodies to be in there.
Pierre Thomas, the former Saint, checks in at running back. Thomas with the carry. The offensive line opening up some holes. He's fighting to hang on to the football. Pierre Thomas, the only one of the running backs active today for the San Francisco team that has been a starter in the NFL.
Pierre Thomas had great years in New Orleans, more as a utility guy, as a runner and out of the backfield. We'll probably see a little bit of that from him today, too.
Top receiver, most ever by a Saint back, 327 yards, but he's had big games against Atlanta when he was in New Orleans. Drone is back in after a gain of just 1. Gabbert moves in the pocket, completes to Patton. Going to be short of the first down. But Gabbert looks comfortable.
He does, and this is what his preseason tape looked like. You know what Patton's got to do for him there. I mean, this is a good play, scramble play by the quarterback, but he's got to get forward.
This is 4th down. You saw the coach, Rondé. Go for it.
You know what? There is no reason he should not go for this. You're at home. You're 2-6, which he deemed unacceptable. You're against the team that's 6-2 in the NFC. Make a statement right here. Go for it for 4th down. I like this.
Kendall Gaskins is in at running back on 4th and 1. He gets the carry. There was a hole for a moment, but it closed in a hurry.
Where the spot's coming in, it looks like a first down.
The Atlanta defense closed fast, but it is a first down, 49ers. And that'll be the end of the quarter with momentum on the side of San Francisco, even though they trail 3-0. Gaskins on 4th and a yard gets the first down. You're watching the NFL on Fox with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and crew from Santa Clara, California. Hope you're enjoying it. Oh, Drone knocked down. He'll lose yard. It's Paul Warlow, who leads the Falcons in tackles, was quickly there to make the stop. In that opening quarter, Tom Sula gambling on 4th and short. Gabbert 4 out of 6 in his first start, as we said, more than a couple of years, and he also ran once for a first down.
Well, the one thing that I've noticed about Blaine Gabbert, when Colin was in here at quarterback and he'd scramble, he was looking to run the football. Both times that we saw Blaine Gabbert out of the pocket, his eyes were downfield, he was looking to make a play, and he did.
Backed up on 2nd and goal. Gabbert in trouble. Gets out of it. He could run. And into the end zone. No. They're not giving him the touchdown. He thought he had it. This will probably, we'll get a look at this. He thought he was in. The official right away said no.
I think his knee is just down right before the goal line. You see the hustle play there, and ball is not in the end zone. His knee is on the ground. It's going to be close.
If he had reached across, Rondé, the ball further, it might have. Here comes a challenge flag.
You know, from that look right there, the ball could have been over the line when his knee touched. But how about the escapability there of Gabbert?
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner's progress was short of the goal line.
On a 2nd and goal, Blaine Gabbert. That's how close he is to his first touchdown in what seems like forever. No touchdown on the field, challenged by the 49ers.
And his knee is on the ground there. Obviously, the ball is not past the line of scrimmage or the goal line there. So I think this is going to come back short.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was down short of the goal line. San Francisco will be charged with their first timeout.
Each team now with 2 timeouts. It will be 3rd and goal. Blaine Gabbert has not had a rushing touchdown in his NFL career. And you would figure, Rondé, if they don't get in here, they went last time on 4th and short. They're trying to get a first touchdown in 2+ games.
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind that this is 2-down territory for this team.
Kendall Gaskins, who got the first down on 4th and short, is the running back, the fullback, Bruce Miller. Gabbert to throw and wide open and a touchdown! Garrett Selleck at San Francisco breaks through on the Blaine Gabbert toss.
What a gutsy play call here. You're on the 1-yard line. You don't have any of your runners back. You're with the new quarterback, and you call a quick play action pass. Selleck is right here on the line of scrimmage. Everybody on Atlanta dives in for that run, and he's sitting there like a flowering daisy for an easy touchdown.
Gabbert, who was surprised to be named the starter this week, has delivered here in the 2nd quarter. Talked about his plus. He said, you can talk about the arm strength. Knowledge of the game is what he's proud of, having time to sit and watch. And he flips the touchdown pass to Garrett Selleck. San Francisco leads here in the 2nd quarter.
This game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history. By Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. And by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Blaine Gabbert to provide a spark, and he has, with Kaepernick, who said this week, I don't agree with the decision, but I'll be a loyal teammate, and he has been for Blaine Gabbert, who threw a touchdown in relief last year at Denver for San Francisco, 24th of his career. And a 7-3 lead is Phil Dawson ready to kick off to Eric Weems, who had a big punt return earlier in this game.
Interesting lineup for the kickoff unit. And they'll all space out here as the ball comes to kick.
And here comes Weems on the fly from the 4. Gets some good blocking and a good return up across the 27-yard line where the Atlanta offense will take over. Let's check in down on the field again with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, injuries mounting here for this Falcons defense. Right now, defensive end Tyson Jackson is back in the Falcons locker room being evaluated for a rib injury. And safety Robinson Teresi is trying to work his way through a hamstring. He refused to go back in the locker room, just stretching here on the sidelines. Both gentlemen questionable to return, Chris.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. The Falcons came into this week one of 5 teams that already matched or exceeded their win total for all of last year. Tampa Bay, Oakland, the Jets, and Carolina, which won again today. Part of that group, but trailing here, Devontae Freeman in at running back. Julio Jones the catch. Slips a tackle. Drags a couple of players with him as he goes out of bounds around the 35-yard line.
Atlanta does a really good job getting Julio Jones involved. You think of all those catches, all those yards, both leading the NFL, but it's these type of plays, these little slip screens, these little passes behind the line of scrimmage that lets his big body just get out and run, that's got him having the productive season that he's having so far.
Offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan over there, yes, son of Mike, who hung out with the 49ers as a kid, as a ball boy. To Jerry Rice. On 2nd and 3, Devontae Freeman. And he will be short of the first down, tackled by Navarro Bowman at the 35-yard line.
I know Navarro Bowman is still coming back from that bad knee injury that he had. But Navarro Bowman is like a ninja when I watch film, man. He makes everybody miss, whether with his hands or just squeezing through gaps, and he's such a sound tackler. Good play by good old vet 53 on this defense.
83 tackles, including today's game in just 8+ games. On 3rd and 2. Ryan, pressure late, pass caught, and reaching out to grab it, Justin Hardy, who had a couple of catches last week, and that's good enough for a first down, playing more and more because of the injury to Leonard Hankerson.
It's going to be important for Justin Hardy to come into his own. Got some playing time last week because of some injuries to Hankerson, who's been out for a while now, but everybody in this Falcons organization is raving about this kid, his professionalism, his willingness to work. See if we get some more touches from him today.
Ryan 7 out of 9 so far from the 40. Jacob Tamme makes the catch, gets across midfield. Tamme, who had such success when he played with Peyton Manning. He's been in 2 Super Bowls with Manning as a Bronco and as a Colt. He had 10 passes last week against the Buccaneers, just 1 off his career high.
Clearly the second option in this passing game for Atlanta. Roddy White is kind of faded into some marginality, I guess, a good way to say it. But those two, between Julio and him, biggest targets for Matt Ryan.
Roddy White turned 34 years old this week. Freeman is going to lose yardage. A great tackle back at the 46 by the corner, Marcus Cromartie.
This was another great tackle by Marcus Cromartie. Again, a guy who I didn't even know where to find film on him. Told us on Friday that he was going to come up and he was going to start. It's the second time today that we've seen him make big boy tackle on a really good running back.
5 carries and no yards for the NFL's leading rusher. Cromartie appeared in 3 games. He was just called up from the practice squad with the injuries to Keith Reeser, Kenneth Acker, and Tremaine Brock, all inactive with injury. Now 2nd and 13. Time for Ryan, but can he find anybody? And underneath is Hardy. Catch made, but short of the first down. Let's get a game break from Mike Hill.
Guys, remember how bad the Vikings looked against the Niners in Week 1? Well, things have changed. In overtime against the St. Louis Rams, Blair Walsh with a game-winning field goal from 40 yards out. Vikings are now 6-2. Chris Ronde, back to you.
And Mike, they are tied for the top spot in the NFC North with Green Bay. The Packers lost today to Carolina. Vikings will be in Oakland against the Raiders next Sunday. You'll see it on Fox. On 3rd and 12. Julio Jones with the catch. But it looks like it's going to be short of the first down.
Unique design here by Mangini, the defensive coordinator here in San Francisco. Look at all these guys. This is a safety in the line of scrimmage who's going to end up blitzing. Gerard, Eddie, Lynch, all these guys just causing some confusion. Matt Ryan's looking down the field with nowhere to go. And he has to dump it off to Julio, and they're able to get off again on 3rd down. Another strong drive there for this San Francisco defense.
And this young 49ers secondary pressed into duty. This is a top 5 offense in the NFL the Falcons bring in here. So far, just 3. Bosher drives this high. Fair catch called for. Ellington at the 6. 49ers will be backed up, but Blaine Gabbert has given the offense a spark as they lead it 7-3 and have the football. Jim Tomsula would not guarantee the start beyond this week for Blaine Gabbert, but you can see already the difference that Gabbert has made with this offense as Kaepernick is watching today. Sean Drone breaks a tackle, fights hard. Paul Warlow makes sure he didn't get far.
Well, it's going to be some tough running against this Atlanta defensive front. Paul Warlow, who you just saw there, I mean, when I look at him, he's not big, he's not fast, but all he does is fly around, make plays on the ball. He's a good leader of this Falcons defense.
Ronnie, you were pointing out on the ride in here about how last week when the 49ers were backed up, Kaepernick, they did running plays. They ended up suffering a safety. See how they play it here as they run again. This time it's Pierre Thomas, and then they'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, a couple of the plays last week, San Francisco was backed up, were I think really indicative of where Colin Kaepernick is as a player and some of the things that necessitated the move at quarterback. You know, everybody saw the play where he missed the wide receiver down the line of scrimmage. Just finding a comfort level, he wasn't able to do it. So they bring in Blaine Gabbert to start at quarterback today, and so far for us, he's been pretty impressive.
On 3rd and 9, time for Gabbert. Batted away. It'll be 4th down. Looked like he was trying to go to Patton. Jonathan Babineau got his hands up. Also, Tyson Jackson has come back out of the locker room for that Falcon defense up front. We'll see if he gets back on the field, but a big stop for the 49er defense. And now Pinion will be backed up at his own end zone trying to boot it out of there.
Yeah, putting out of your end zone is never good. You're always looking for at least just 1 first down. Going to give Atlanta some pretty good field position here.
Eric Weems from the 40 of Atlanta with room to turn the corner. Slips a tackle. Still going. Weems down the sideline and knocked down out of bounds. Vance McDonald. He ran out of his shoe, but ended up in 49er territory where the Falcon offense will take over.
Big hit here at the end of the play on Eric Weems, setting him up for yet another good scoring opportunity for Atlanta.
Today's game is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
A new tradition in college basketball, the Gabbett tip-off games, Big East against Big Ten. 4 days of action beginning November 17th. Nebraska against Villanova starts it off on FS1. Freeman the back. Matt Ryan rolling and throwing. Open is Jacob Tamme. Juggles but holds on. And Tamme inside the 20 of San Francisco.
I feel like I see this play every week from almost every offense. Just a little throwback in Jacob Tamme, who ends up getting lost in the shuffle, and nobody can find him. Tamme is right here. He's the inside tight end. He's going to block down on the defensive end, but really he's just trying to sneak away. Nobody in San Francisco's secondary finds him, and it's a big gain for Atlanta.
A 26-yard pickup spotted at the 19. Freeman. Stiff arm his way to gain a few yards, but Dante Johnson hung with him.
The other corner for this San Francisco defense today, a good tackle on Devontae Freeman. This running game, it's zone schemes, it's man schemes. They do a lot of different things, but Devontae Freeman has the ability to bounce anything. He puts his foot in the ground, he gets lateral, but this defense is doing a good job today.
That's his 6th carry, a total of 1 yard for Freeman, who also leads the NFL with 10 touchdowns, 9 of them on the ground. As a receiver, Freeman goes to the bottom of your screen. Thank you for drawing, Rondé. I need the visual aid. Julio Jones can't hold it. It'll be 3rd and 9.
I mentioned earlier that Julio Jones ends up lining up everywhere in this offense, but they move Devontae Freeman outside so they can get Julio inside. And he's got a one-on-one matchup with the corner, and he's going to win it almost every time. Shocked that he didn't hold on to that football.
And Julio Jones told us when we talked to him, and Matt Ryan supported 75% of the time I'm double. That meaning than one guy on me, however you want to cover it. Now it's a 3rd and 9. Batted away, it's 4th down. Tony Girardelli, reserve defensive lineman, knocked it away.
Tony Girardelli is getting blocked here at the line of scrimmage, but good defensive linemen are coached that when you can't get there, get your hands up, affect the lane, the throwing lane of the quarterback. That was a good job, again, by this 49ers defense getting off on a 3rd down.
Matt Bryant, who made earlier from 44, will try from 36 to try and get Atlanta to within 1. Steady as always. A couple of field goals for the Falcons so far. They trail 7-6 here in Santa Clara, California. Blaine Gabbert, when we said how much do you appreciate this opportunity to start, he said a ton and smiled from ear to ear. Told us, I do think of myself as a starter and waited for the opportunity. So far, so good, as you see the numbers in the early lead for his team as Bosher gets ready to kick off for Atlanta. Bruce Ellington back to return. Just over 6 minutes to play here in the 2nd quarter. Bounces, Ellington on the bounce. And Bruce Ellington, the return game for both teams, up across the 34. Weems has been pretty good on the return game for Atlanta. Gabbert played 3 seasons at Missouri, left after his junior year. Jacksonville's 1st-round pick in 2011. The Jags moved up 6 spots to draft him 10th. The record 5-22 in 3 seasons, some injuries, and you know the Jags' talent level at that time. But in March of 2014, traded to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick, signed a 2-year contract extension last spring. And so he has a year on this contract after this year. Played well in the preseason, and they made it a point to give him time with the starters during the preseason. He's off to a good start here. Dropped again by Torrey Smith. That's 2 today.
Oh, he's got to catch this ball for his quarterback. And Torrey Smith is a guy that we know how explosive he can be, what he was in Baltimore. He leads this team with 21 yards per catch, but you got to take advantage of your opportunities when you get them.
They signed him to a 5-year, $40 million deal, the ex-Raven. Nobody could get him the ball before. Now he can't hold on to the ball. In trouble, Gabbert gets away. He's going to keep it and get up near the 40, where it'll bring up 3rd down and about 3.5 yards.
Well, we know Colin can do this. Well, so can Blaine Gabbert. It rushes in his face immediately. Corner just whiffs him. He's able to get out and pick up some positive yards. Give them a much more manageable 3rd down situation here.
John Drone, the running back.
No. We got 2 out here. You go that way.
Gabbert to throw. Patton has it, and a 1st down at the 40 of Atlanta. A turnaround grab from Quentin Patton.
Good job, Quentin Patton's right here in your slot, and just a little sail route. Sail, because the guy in the flat sail sits down. He has all that sideline to work with. Really confident throw by Blaine Gabbert. Good catch.
Gain of 21, and they went without a huddle. Now Drone has the football. He played in 5 games for the Browns, only had a couple of carries, undrafted out of North Carolina. His first signing was with the Redskins, but he's been with 8 different teams on 7 different rosters. Said he was thankful when he got the call to show up at Sunday night late here in San Francisco, then Santa Clara. Pierre Thomas hit at running back. It's the carry. A big hole for the former Saint.
You know, Chris, this offense looks so much more assured right now than what I've seen on tape the last 2 games. Quarterback's making smart decisions. He's moving out of the pocket, picking up positive yards with his legs. But more importantly, he's delivering the ball efficiently to his receivers on time. Been impressed so far again.
After the first down run from the 28 of Atlanta.
Alert, alert, alert! Who are you working? 5-1. 5-5.
Thrown would lose yardage. Here comes a flag as he's thrown down at the 35. Looked like
Holding.
Babineau.
Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Babineau and Warlow got there. Eric Piers guilty of the holding penalty.
This is Piers right here. Babineau's right across from him. Leads this team in tackles for loss. He just blows up Eric Piers. Runs through him. He can do nothing but hold him. He gets 10 yards for his efforts.
And that right side of the offensive line, again, Daniel Kilgore's been out at center. It's been a problem in trying to establish the running game since that opener when they dominated on the ground against the Vikings. Quick pass is caught by Drone, showing some receiving skills and running with the football to the 26 of Atlanta.
Yeah, big play there by Sean Drones, but going back to that penalty on Eric Piers, just noted right when I was looking at that replay that he's inside playing at guard. Trent Brown, number 77 right there, is out at tackle, so they're having some issues at right guard. They moved their starting right tackle into guard. Have a young guy out at tackle now.
After a gain of 12, overthrows his tight end, Vance McDonald, and took a tough hit. Now, he told us you have to take it on the chin once in a while and then go back to the huddle and handle it because your teammates have to know that you can handle it.
Well, people can question you, but you're going to get hit as a quarterback, and the good ones are able to stand in there with their eyes squarely down the field and take that hit. Get up, go and stand in the huddle like you said, and know that it doesn't affect you, and you're going to be out here on the next snap.
He has not been sacked so far today. Claiborne got to him there, but the ball had been released. On third down, sideline throw, incomplete for Jerome Simpson. And here comes Phil Dawson.
Well, this play is exactly as you draw it up. Just a little back shoulder fade for Jerome Simpson. Really good throw by Blaine Gabbert, and this has got to be a catch. It was executed perfectly. You get your hands on it, you don't catch it, it's a drop, and that's the third one of the day. These 49 receivers.
A field goal try of 44. He's made 13 in a row, 40-year-old Phil Dawson, who did a season-long 54-yarder last week at St. Louis. And this one, right down the middle. We are 38 miles south of Candlestick. 49er fans like what they're seeing so far today. Even in a commercial break, we're always watching. And Rondé, the frustration of a player when he knows he should have caught the football.
Oh, it's to be nothing worse than that, knowing that you had an opportunity. He'll get another one, though.
That was Jerome Simpson. Meanwhile, Eric Weems, 90 return yards already, 23 of those on kickoffs, 60-plus on punt returns, and hoping to set up Matt Ryan and this Atlanta offense. Ryan is 11 of 15 for over 100 yards. No turnovers and no touchdowns yet. Phil Dawson for Weems. A yard out and gets 25 on the return. Along with our producer Mike Burks, director Michael Frank, Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and our great production crew. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. Well, not to turn this into the Blaine Gabbert resume program. He's been impressive. These running backs, too, that the 49ers picked up that were out of work at Pierre Thomas and Sean Drone, they've done their part as well.
Well, Pierre Thomas, we know what he is. He obviously has been sitting on his couch in Chicago for a long time, but Drones has some football in him this year. He was in camp with some teams. Really impressive. Obviously, you don't know it's early in the game. We don't know what we're going to get out of them. But for guys that weren't doing anything last week, you have to be somewhat surprised by their success so far.
Ryan's pass off the fingertips of Tammy. Neither offense has really lit it up here, as the score would indicate. So some of that credit has to go to the defenses here, especially the San Francisco defense with 3 of their top 4 corners inactive today.
Well, the corners have been active in the run game, and that's what's hampering Atlanta today so far is they haven't been able to get Devontae Freeman involved. 6 rushes for 1 yard. He's only had a couple of catches out of the backfield. When he gets going, his team gets going.
Flag down. Freeman down. A fired up 49er team over there on the sideline of the Falcons.
Offside, defense, the left end in the neutral zone at the snap, 5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
We have an injured player as well. Cromartie, who is filling in for a couple of injured corners, kneeling in pain. 49ers with the 5th youngest roster currently in the NFL. The Rams the youngest. Let's take a look, Rondé, what happened.
Well, Cromartie has shown a willingness to be physical, and you see when he goes to the ground there, his helmet pops off, and who knows what happens to him when his head's rolling around under all those bodies. Probably just with that towel, probably got a bloody tooth or something.
And of course the NFL has their certified trainer here and often will signal down if someone needs to be removed from the field. Chris Davis, who was just called up from the practice squad, is already, we've seen action. You remember him, the former Charger, former Auburn player who returned the missed kick against Alabama, is somebody that's available. Jimmy Ward comes in as well. 2nd-year player who also was just activated. On 2nd and 5. Julio Jones can't get to it, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Well, there's something off with Matt Ryan on his throws today. Rookie cornerback comes into the game. He targets him on this pass right here and just sails an easy completion to Julio Jones there.
Well, Matt Ryan said we want to continue to be aggressive, but we just have to be careful about turnovers. That's something that hurt them in the red zone, but they haven't been in the red zone a lot today. Batted incomplete. Gerard Eddy again. That's his 2nd so far today.
Same thing, different snap. Not getting to the quarterback. Look at him eyeing Matt Ryan. As soon as his arm cocks to throw, he jumps, gets his long arms up in the air. Their 2nd pass defense of the day. Frustration on this Atlanta offense right now. You can see it on the faces of the guys as they walk to the sideline. They're used to putting up a plethora of yardage, and today this San Francisco defense is rising to the occasion.
Almost blocked as Bosher took his time. Bruce Ellington back to the 10, strong kick. Ellington dancing around, he's got room to run. And he does. All the way up to the 29. There's a flag down after a 57-yard punt.
These returners are the story of the game so far today. Dynamic, active, making people miss. Fun to watch these guys.
Only 1 penalty accepted on Atlanta so far today.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, kicking team number 80. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play on a 1st down.
That call on Levine Toilolo, the backup tight end for the Falcons. And it should spring the 49ers forward 15 more.
Well, this has been the MO of the Atlanta Falcons here recently. Slow starts. The turnovers last week against Tampa got them there. Against Tennessee, they couldn't get their offense going. And here again today, only 2 drives inside the 30-yard line even, and it resulted in field goals. And Matt Ryan is on the sideline looking at his tablet, trying to figure out, how do we figure this out?
The Falcons have trailed in 6 of 8 games at the half this year, but they do have 6 wins to go with the 2 losses. So they're a team that's used to close games, and they've won their share of them. On 1st down, Gabbert Underneath, Drone catches and gets into Atlanta territory.
I think that's important, what you just made there. The fact that they've been in these situations, and Dan Quinn told us that, we've been in close games, and you want to be able to script those for your team. But because they've done it in football games, they're comfortable being down in games.
The 49ers leading Dan Quinn and the Falcons 10-6 behind Blaine Gabbert's first start in more than 2 years at the 2-minute warning. You can get apps and videos and a lot more at itunes.com/NFL. Rondé Barber and Chris Myers after the 2-minute warning. 49ers with the lead in the football. Gabbert, 9 out of 15, over 100 yards and a touchdown. And he's run a couple of times. Here comes a flag. Four penalties on the 49ers, 2 on Atlanta.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 44 stepped across the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to break his stance. This 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Just Vic Beasley right here, and good hard count by Blaine Gabbert. He almost got his receivers at the top of the screen too. I think that's what that discussion was a little bit of the officials.
Hey, pass!
On second down, a delay to Drone, who's hit hard, slips a tackle. Sean Drone down the sideline to the 15 of Atlanta. Desmond Trufant saved what could have been a touchdown after a run of 30 yards.
Who is Sean Drone, people are asking. Well, all I know is that Sean Drone on this delay makes both of these guys stop in their tracks when they hit him. Nothing. That should have been a tackle for loss. It ends up being a big gain for San Francisco.
That's a career-long run for him. Now Pierre Thomas is in. And Thomas carries. I don't want to be disrespectful, but guys taken off the scrap heap when you think about Drone and Pierre Thomas, even Blaine Gabbert, who are getting their chance and making the most of it.
Well, there's no saying that given an opportunity, guys can't succeed. Coach Tom Sula had absolutely no qualms with starting this guy right off the street this week. Gaskins, who played last week, is on the bench behind him because of the plays that we've seen so far today.
Drone gets the carry, this time wrapped up and thrown to the turf by Solii. And Drone said, I was just thankful that somebody was interested in giving me a chance. Falcons use a timeout. They'll have one remaining. Now remember, Dan Quinn told us that don't be surprised no matter who has the ball, because I like to give our offense a chance with some time right before the half, so I might use a timeout on defense.
Yes, he's expecting his defense to get a stop here on third down. Want more time, obviously.
Game clock to 1:20, they reset it. More with Quinn. Dan Quinn's first coaching job in the NFL was with the 49ers from 2001 to 2004, and he actually interviewed for the head coaching job in San Francisco back in January. And if you talk about his roots, Salisbury University is where he went to school, and that's him. Look at how
he's not like you showing
a
this.
defensive lineman, and he competed in the hammer throw and set the school record that stood for 18 years. Nice shirt. Inducted into the school's Hall of Fame in 2005, and a great guy to talk to. Gabbert, end zone, touchdown! Garrett Selleck, 2 today.
Another question on this 49ers team was, who's picking up the slack for Vernon Davis, who's now going to catch passes from Peyton Manning? And Selleck is lined up out here by himself, so it's an isolation route. He's on the rookie, out and up, stick nod as we used to call it, and just another good delivery by Blaine Gabbert for the second 49er touchdown on the day.
When he told us that he wasn't just sitting around, he was studying, he was practicing, he was preparing for the next chance to start, Blaine Gabbert wasn't kidding. A 2-touchdown game. This is a 49er offense that's averaging less than 14 a game, and with the extra point, from Phil Dawson. They have 17 in one half against the 6-2 Falcons. They were hoping for a jolt, and they've gotten it.
I got to tell you, I'm impressed. Count me impressed. Blaine Gabbert showing a lot of poise. Jen mentioned it at the top of the show, how he played in the preseason. This is what I saw in the preseason. He completed 82% of his passes in the preseason. That's exactly why they made this switch. Their offense was listless with Colin Kaepernick, and not all on Colin. I don't want to say that. But the spark that they're looking for, they're getting out of Blaine Gabbert today.
Well, Gabbert, to his credit, didn't lobby when things were going bad for Kaepernick. He was a loyal teammate, just as Kaepernick said he would be, to support the starting quarterback, which is now Blaine Gabbert. And I think the decision is being made for Jim Tomsula beyond this game of who his starting quarterback is going to be.
You don't want to get into the week in, week out quarterback changing scenario. That doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't help Colin. It doesn't help Blaine. It certainly doesn't help the chemistry on your football team. But we'll see going forward. The way Blaine Gabbert's played today, I think you're right, Chris. The decision is being made very succinctly for him.
Phil Dawson kicking off. It's another short kickoff. Leans from the 5-yard line. Hit hard, but keeps going. And this time thrown down at the 22-yard line. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
All right, we've got the best protected halftime show in history. Servicemen and women from the U.S. Army Reserve will join us with Veterans Day just a few days away. We've also got highlights from the early games, and you know it's always fun whenever Terry Steelers take on Howie's Raiders.
And for the first time in a long time, thanks to all of you, I feel completely safe. Thank you.
Army strong! Back to you.
Thank you. Appreciate our servicemen and servicewomen, not just on Veterans Day, but year-round, 24 hours a day. Time from Matt Ryan. And Julio Jones has it all the way inside the 25 of the 49ers.
I think that's the first time this year that I've seen Matt Ryan drop back, hit his 5th foot, and just Julio Jones right here hit his 5th foot and just air this thing out. He doesn't have a really powerful arm, so he has to get it out on time, and Julio Jones does a good job running under that big catch.
Blitz, and he gets it away to Jacob Tamme. Atlanta has one timeout as the clock runs.
And if you're San Francisco, I mean, you've got to be mad at yourself. You go down and score. You're right before the half, and the only thing that gets you in trouble is giving up a big play, and it's on the first snap.
Ryan goes underneath Devontae Freeman. He could go to the end zone. He's in. It's a touchdown, Freeman, for the Falcons.
This offense absolutely thrives in pressure situations. And this mismatch that ends up here, Devontae Freeman on Lynch, makes this an easy touchdown for Atlanta. Watch Devontae Freeman. You'll see Lynch right there at your screen has no chance to keep up with this kid. Chris, just a necessary touchdown for Atlanta, who wasn't able to do anything so far this game.
You can see why Quinn used the timeout to give his offense a chance. That's 11 touchdowns total, 2 through the air, 9 on the ground, and leading the NFL at setting Atlanta franchise records. Matt Bryant for the extra point. And it's a 4-point game. For Matt Ryan, his 12th touchdown pass of the season. Tonight on Fox, it's the return of Sunday Fun Day. An all-new night of smash comedy hits. Sunday Fun Day. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. We hope you'll laugh a lot here on Fox. Well, the Falcons are used to close games, to comebacks. The 49ers.
I mean, that one was improbable, though. 3 plays, you got to go 78 yards or whatever it was, and you get an enormous play to Julio Jones, a 54-yard completion, and then 2 plays later you're in the end zone. For a San Francisco defense that have been playing really well today, to give up those type of plays is, they got to be kicking themselves right now.
It's a young 49ers secondary. In fact, Eric Mangini, the defensive coordinator, said in our defensive backs meeting, we don't have enough anybody who can rent a car. They're not old enough. But they have held up well until that moment, and it was as if Matt Ryan was patiently waiting to strike, and Atlanta will get the ball to start the second half. At least the 49ers will kick off to Atlanta. But still time here, just 13 seconds, 2 timeouts, the way the return game has gone. Hold everything. Matt Bosher is back. Him and Phil Dawson have been rotating on kickoffs, so they want to try and kick it deeper. It's the up return man. Pierre Thomas on that return.
These 2 young defensive backs here, Cromartie and Johnson, guys that nobody in the Bay Area probably know much about. Done a pretty good job, but on that big play there, everybody on that defense was a little bit exposed.
Gabbard with a 2-touchdown game, the 5th time in his career, and the 2 touchdown passes equal a career high for the one-time Jacksonville Jag first-round draft pick. And the 49ers will be satisfied to go to the half with a 4-point lead and a 17-13 advantage. On a damp day in Santa Clara, the 49ers have been given a spark. $54 yards to Julio Jones, then to Jacob Tamme, then the touchdown pass to Freeman. It's a 17-13 game. 49ers getting ready to kick off to Atlanta to start the second half with the lead. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. The crowd excited with Blaine Gabbert getting his first start at quarterback in more than 2 years, and he has thrown 2 touchdown passes. And that is today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers enjoying the NFL on Fox. 6-2 Atlanta. 4 of their wins have been come from behind wins this season, trailing at the half. San Francisco struggling at 2-6, averaging fewer than 14 points a game, thus the quarterback change that has worked so far. Eric Weems, who has had quite a first half, returning punts and kicks, will bring it out of the end zone. And there goes Weems. Still going, and eventually brought down around midfield. A 49-yard return, and sets up Atlanta on offense.
Eric Weems is running with some serious power here, and you'll see him extend the play and then get vertical. I love runners that do this, not always trying to go to the sideline. He's done it exemplary today. This game has been about as much about field position on the return units as both offenses.
Devontae Freeman, who scored his league-leading 11th touchdown right before the half, is in the backfield, but Matt Ryan wants to throw and does to Jacob Tamme, who gets knocked down. Well, Atlanta on offense, they haven't played their best football, Rondé, in the first half, but they're set up nicely here. So what do they have to do, trailing only by 4?
Well, they got to find a way to run the football. This offense goes through Devontae Freeman. In fact, Matt Ryan told us the biggest surprise for him this season is how they've been able to run the football. So today, to have 6 rushes for 1 yard is a credit, obviously, to San Francisco's defense. But if this offense is going to get on track, 24 is going to have to get going.
It was a touchdown catch. He has 1 yard rushing. Freeman the carry here, and gets down to the 41-yard line. The 49er defense, patchwork secondary with a number of injuries, has held up well against a top 5 Atlanta offense.
It is a really young defense, and the hard part for a coordinator when you have that many young guys is who do you protect? Which guys do you try to give help to? But today they've all played pretty well.
They go without a huddle. Ryan falls on the handoff, but Freeman, with that extra surge, gets the first down, and frustrated because he felt he might have been able to break it.
Great effort here by Devontae Freeman, and the quarterback gets tripped up by Levitre there coming out from under center, and Devontae Freeman with that little shake Jimmy that he has is able to pick up some yardage.
Had a streak of 3 straight 100-yard rushing games snapped last week with 88 yards against the Bucs. Freeman the football. Working off a block and making the tackle, Ahmad Brooks.
This was an outstanding play by Ahmad Brooks. Standing right here, he's going to get a blocker come out to him, and he taught to cut him. So he cuts him, puts his hands on his back, gets him out of the way, and still able to make a tackle there on Devontae Freeman. Outstanding defensive effort there by 55.
Now Julio Jones has 5 catches for 91 yards. So it's as if the 49ers are inviting, Roddy White has not had a target here. It's as if they're inviting Ryan to throw. They're doing everything to take away the run. After a loss of 3, Ryan to throw underneath. Toilolo inside the 40.
Yeah, you talked about early in the game about them doubling. And this is Julio Jones, and he's covered by the rookie right here. But watch the underneath the fence. Safety right there. 35, Eric Reed is saying you're not getting the ball to 11. You better find somewhere else to dump it down. And they had to give it to the tight end, get themselves a longer 3rd down opportunity. Good job by San Francisco's defense.
Eric Reed, the senior member back there, and he's only in his 3rd year. On 3rd and 12, Matt Ryan gets away. There's room to run. There's a flag. There's 2 flags. He has the 1st down going out of bounds.
Well, this is definitely coming back with the hold. And it's going to be on Schrader, the right tackle.
Holding, offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
You'll see this hold. This is very obvious. Right there on number 91, Eric Armstrong is a guy that's going to get a lot of playing time today. He was pushing the pocket there, and Schrader could do nothing else but to protect his quarterback by holding him.
So the gain of 13 is wiped out. They're back near midfield. They need 22 yards for a 1st down, but maybe they can get in field goal range.
That height-weight combination. I need to see more of Eric Armstrong. He's got a big opportunity here on 3rd and long.
Plenty of time for Matt Ryan underneath the catch at the 40. The ball comes out at the end. It's a no catch. Jacob Tamme, it's incomplete, ruled that way on the field. Tamme does have 5 catches in the game. Matt Ryan doesn't want to see Bowman running with the football the other way. The pick at the stick still in his mind.
Oh, you're exactly right. Last touchdown in the old stadium was Matt Ryan. Yeah, but he never had control of that ball. Good defensive play by Jimmy Ward to get that out. We were joking with Matt Ryan in our meeting and said, hey, you know, you had the last touchdown in the candlestick. He's like, yeah, but it wasn't mine.
It was the Navarro Bowman interception return for a touchdown. These 2 teams have had an interesting history. Fair catch called for. Of course, the NFC Championship game on 4th and 4 where Matt Ryan tried to convert against the Kaepernick of the 49ers. Atlanta had the big lead in that game. But here a game where the 49ers are trying to turn their season around.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Burger King, introducing new Buffalo chicken fries, a better way to Buffalo. By AARP, real possibilities. And by Kay Jewelers, every kiss begins with Kay.
Hard hat display, a tribute to the hard workers who put this stadium together. Super Bowl 50, 91 days from now, will be played here. As Drone, who's been the workhorse on the ground for the 49ers, carries on 1st down. Let's check in down on the field again with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, the offensive frustrations continue mounting for this Atlanta Falcons team. Dan Quinn tells me, fortunately, they played their best ball when their backs are to the wall, and he just reminded his team that that is the situation right now. Meanwhile, Blaine Gabbert confounding this defense. Tim Tomsula actually tried to calm his team down at halftime, reminding them to be consistent. So nice change of pace, Chris.
Quick handoff to Drone again with his extra effort. Gets up across the 17. It'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, if you're the San Francisco 49ers, it's easy to be excited about what you're doing on offense right now because they haven't seen it. We haven't seen these results from this offense in a number of weeks. So, yeah, I get what Tom Sulu was saying to his team. Stay the course, continue to build. It's a long game. See how it plays itself out.
Torrey Smith without a catch. He has a couple of drops. Jerome Simpson, same thing. They're doing it with backup running backs. No Anquan Bolden. And Blaine Gabbert's first start. He floats one, and catch made at the 40. A little behind the receiver, but Torrey Smith held on to this one.
You got a rookie, Jalen Collins, outside. This is your rookie right here. Here's Torrey Smith. Just a little out, a little stutter, and gone. Ball is out a little bit in front of him. This thing could have been a touchdown.
And we have an injured player, and it looks like it is Jalen Collins, the rookie corner, drafted in the second round from LSU. He played some 67 snaps against the Titans and got the start today.
Falcons' Jalen Collins telling teammates he's just fine.
All right, Jenny, didn't look fine. Phillip Adams has come in for him on 1st and 10. That secondary thin. William Moore and Alfred inactive today. As Gabbert has been on the move a lot and gets rid of that one. It'll be 2nd down and 10. So what does this do to the secondary? There's a flag down, Rondé, before we address.
Quarterback was outside the pocket, threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage.
We'll have to check on this flag, but in terms of the secondary in Atlanta here, Robinson Therezy, who went to the locker room earlier, is going to have to be the nickel if they get the sub packages.
There is no foul for ineligible downfield as the quarterback was well outside the pocket and threw the ball away. 2nd down.
Yeah, so with Jalen Collins, who was in for Robert Alford, the other starting corner this week, Phillip Adams goes over to right corner, and number 27, Thezy, is going to have to play nickel if they get multiple sets.
Gabbert 11 out of 18. He's also run 3 times. Open in the air, off his hands, and eventually intercepted by Phillip Adams. And there goes Adams. Let's see if they call him down, but Jerome Simpson could not hang on to the football. There's a flag down back at the 28.
Well, this is just criminal by Jerome Simpson. He is wide open. He has to make this catch.
That is at least the 4th drop. And Gabbert not getting much support from his receivers. Thank goodness Selleck is there. He has 2 catches for 2 touchdowns today for San Francisco. We'll take a closer look to see if the interception was clean or not by Adams, who just come in at the corner spot for the injured Collins.
This is a post-play penalty, I believe, and it's going to be on Atlanta. I think possibly a late hit.
You just saw the lip reading there from Quinn. What was the foul?
After the interception and during the return, personal foul, blindside block number 55 on the defense. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal with Atlanta retaining the football. 1st down.
Interception by Adams. Let's look at that, then the Warlow penalty.
Can that ball hit you any better than it does there? But bouncing pinball and Adams, well, I don't know, Chris. That ball, that last picture right there, he doesn't look like he has sure control on this thing. Watch it, it's going to be in his right arm, and it's going to hit the ground, and I'm not sure. But here's the blindside block on Warlow right there.
And turnovers are reviewed anyway, so I think they're going to try and make sure if we have a better angle of that. And that's what Tom Sulu is saying. Wait a minute, why don't you guys take a closer look at that.
I'm not sure what they're waiting for. It has to be replayed.
The previous play will go under review.
Of course it will. Thank you. But watch the ball in its right hand. Doesn't look like he has great control, and it's touching right there. Stop it right there. Go back, and you'll see that the ball in his right hand is not secure, and it's on the ground. This could be an incomplete pass.
This game is sponsored by Fallout 4, the next generation of open world gaming, available on November 10th.
The call on the field was an interception and reviewed automatically as turnovers are.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand as an interception. The penalty against Atlanta will be enforced half the distance to the goal, with Atlanta retaining possession.
Well, Mike Pereira, we were on with him a second ago, said that, yeah, he had control. He's got left arm, left hand has touching the ball. He doesn't move that much. It's 45% reversal in the league so far, and they tend to want to stand with the call on the field, and that's what they did there.
Well, that's an interception that's all on Jerome Simpson. Don't blame the quarterback for that. And maybe that's part of the reason Kaepernick is on the bench. These receivers for San Francisco today, other than Patton, have not been up to par. Underneath, Freeman is shoved backwards by Navarro Bowman. During the review, you saw Jerome Simpson, who's had a litany of legal problems off the field, and now his emotions on the field with his inability to hold the football.
He's got to catch that football. That's just inexcusable for a professional receiver to make those 2 drops that we've seen him make today. But Atlanta has the ball backed up here. San Francisco's defense, who's been on par today, Chris, got a chance to keep him down here.
First turnover of the game, the Atlanta takeaway sets up Matt Ryan. Pressure coming, he gets it to Freeman. And knocked down at the 16 by Reed and Bowman. Defensive teamwork from the 49er team. Bowman, they wanted to limit his snap count. You know, he's coming off that surgery from the gruesome knee injury, as Aaron Lynch is slow to get up from that linebacking core. Gerald Hodges is the linebacker who often spells Bowman, often in coverage, but now Lynch, who has 5 sacks, the leading sacker on this team, is the guy who is being checked out.
Aaron Lynch, and you'll see this blitz right here, and he gets caught up under the offensive guard here, Levitre. Could have been a hold right there. I'm not sure what the injury there. He comes up holding his ankle. We'll have to take a look at that and see if that's a problem for him. In his stead, it will be Eli Harold, the rookie from Virginia, who comes in as that outside linebacker in this defense opposite Ahmad Brooks, also from Virginia.
And you're from Virginia. I knew you were waiting to work that in somewhere. It's good that Lynch can work himself over to the sideline. Devontae Freeman, 9 carries. This is the leading rusher in the NFL coming in, only 7 yards. But he does have 5 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown.
We know he's a problem out of the backfield. We'll see who he's matched up here. He's out of the game. Sorry, Chris.
Tevin Coleman checks in on 3rd down and 4. Empty backfield pass is caught by Julio Jones, and a clutch catch for a first down across the 25-yard line.
You know, again, Atlanta, they love to get Julio Jones inside. We saw this earlier in the game. The running back will empty out of the backfield, and he'll be on the left side of your screen here. He's matched up one-on-one with the corner, and he slants. He's the best slant runner I've ever seen. He's got the big body, but his quarterback throws him open a lot, and it's just good completion on 3rd down.
Ryan, Julio Jones is wide open. Knocked down at the 42-yard line. He's over 100 receiving yards on his 7th catch of the game.
Well, it's hard enough to cover Julio Jones, but if you trip, and Julio tripped him there, you got no chance.
I really enjoyed, Ronde, as you did, sitting down and talking with Julio Jones. Talked about being a team player and working himself in this offense as Freeman carries, and is knocked down, will lose yardage. Bowman again on the play.
Navarro Bowman is everywhere, man. This guy, we all know what he was 2013 before his injury. Almost had 200 tackles. But watch him just shoot out of a cannon right here to make this play. Good stopping up front by the defensive line, but he has a gap. He shoots it. Sure tackle. Nice play by this veteran defender here in San Francisco. Love this guy.
There's Eric Mangini, the former head coach, the defensive coordinator here for Jim Tomsula in San Francisco on 2nd and 13. Underneath to Freeman, slips the tackle of Bowman, gets up across the 45-yard line where it'll be 3rd down. Aaron Lynch has come back onto the field. There's Ronnie White, the veteran, who has yet to catch a pass today.
Don't know that he's been targeted yet today, Chris.
Well, wherever Julio Jones is, if you're the 49ers, I think that's where you want to try and make sure Matt Ryan doesn't have time to get to him.
Julio on the top right here. And you'll see the safety up top here, over top of him.
The other way and over the head of Nick Williams. Interesting play call that frustrates Matt Ryan.
Well, again, San Francisco's defense is not going to let Julio Jones beat them there. Two guys taking care of Julio Jones. He's forced to go the other way. And it's, again, another bad pass. He had the route that he wanted. It was a little option route in the slot. Wide open, but not able to connect.
This is Matt Ryan's first game in this stadium. The team flew out on Friday, had a walkthrough yesterday. And Ryan out 21 out of 30. But the 49er defense survives the interception as this punt rolls and rolls. Did he save it? And according to the official, he did. They're saying he downed it. As long as the player who flipped it back was not in the end zone and was not the first one to touch it, that's a great special teams play.
Yeah, you saw Coleman just kind of lollygagging around the ball right there, but really a headsy play for a young guy. He's a running back playing gunner outside. You see him out of bounds. He cannot be the first one to touch the ball, so watch him like, somebody else hurry up please and touch this, and now he can down it. Good job by the Atlanta special teams unit.
Spotting it at the 3-yard line with just over 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Not sure what Tony Carenza is talking to Dan Quinn about. Obviously, he's happy with what the special teams unit did for Atlanta as Jim Tomsula has Gabbert backed up. Blaine Gabbert has completed 11 of 19 passes for 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, the interception off the hands of Jerome Simpson. Shane Drone picked up just this week 12 carries, 55 yards, has had a career-long 30-yard run. Former Brown was with a number of teams, but has been the go-to guy. Kendall Gaskins is in now. Bruce Miller, a fullback, gets the carry going forward.
These situations are so hard for offenses. You got only a couple of options down here. You obviously don't want to put a quarterback who's got his first snap throwing out of the end zone. You look for direct runs. You look for quick passing game. See what they come up here on second down.
Gabbert to throw, and does. Did he hold on? Yes, and he stayed in bounds. Torrey Smith with an adjustment on the catch.
Just a really good throw here. See the overhand delivery. It's a little unique. Look at that catch. One-handed. Talking about the guys letting them down today. That was a nice back shoulder catch by Torrey Smith.
Back-to-back catches after he dropped the first 2 in his hands. Drone is back in. He also has 3 catches. And that goes through his hands, and it was almost intercepted. Looked like he was trying to fake the block and then turn around for the throw. Yeah. And Gabbert didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, this is a little shovel screen, and the execution was there. Drone just wasn't able to hold on to it. Don't know why they call it a shovel screen, but that's what it's called.
The Falcon defense said, we're not going to look at Blaine Gabbert as if this is something. It's still the 49er offense. We're going to look at it as if he's replacing a starter who was injured. They played him tough today as Drone gets thrown down. Soliai, who's been active today on that defensive line, all 350 pounds of him.
Talk about Soliai, talk about Hegman. Those guys are the run stoppers on this Atlanta defense. There's a whole set of other guys that come in and rush the passer, and they're coming into the football game now on this third down situation. These guys, there's a reason they're ranked high in the league in rushing yardage.
And Jalen Collins is back now after he missed a few series defensively, so he's at one corner with Trufant the other, and you can have Adams back in if you need that nickel help with Ishmael and Ricardo Alanis. Jalen Collins. Bruce Ellington with the flip inside. And not much happening there. It'll be fourth down. Well, the start of Blaine Gabbert, as much about trying to make something happen as Kaepernick going to the bench. He's thrown the ball well. He's run the ball well. 4 times for 25 yards on the ground. And a 2-touchdown passing game to equal his career best at age 26, trying to revitalize a career after things fizzled in Jacksonville.
I guess there's no jerseys in the team store yet.
Not yet. Weems with room to run. Knocked down across the 40. 2:25 to go in the third quarter. Good field position for the Falcons. Only Freeman has been able to punch it in the end zone for Atlanta. 49er defense is ganged up on Devontae Freeman. He was checked out by the medical staff during that last series, so ready to come back in. Tevin Coleman in the backfield as they start from the 40, trailing by 4. Coleman the carry with a big hole. It's up to the 43. It closed in a hurry. Quentin Dial on the tackle. Coleman, the rookie from Indiana, drafted in the 3rd round, averaging just over 4 yards a carry.
Freeman was the star, though, and Tevin Coleman got his opportunity week 1 and 2 of this season and really shined. But when he got hurt with his ribs, it gave Devontae Freeman the stage again, and he has just been the brightest star in the NFL, young star in the NFL this year with his opportunity.
Fakes Matt Ryan with time and room to run, headed towards the out-of-bounds slides before he gets there, where it'll be 3rd down, possibly 4.5 yards. Here comes Freeman back in. He's only 5'8", but he told us, Rondé, that my size is measured by my heart. He certainly plays that way.
And Dan Quinn gave us a great quote. He's short but not small, and he told Dan Quinn in the offseason that he was ready, and Dan Quinn said, you know what? I'd better see it rather than hear it, and we've seen it so far in his 2nd season as an Atlanta Falcon.
On 3rd down, the pass. He held on. What an excellent catch. An extraordinary catch by Julio Jones. The coverage was good, but he's got his 5th 100-yard game of the season.
Marcus Cromartie just has to finish here. He's on the ball, but he just kind of gives up on it. He thinks it's either incomplete already or that Julio caught it. But if he was more aggressive on the finish of that play, that would have been an incompletion. They would have been off again on 3rd down.
Already the 24th 100-yard receiving game of his career in his 5th season from Alabama. After a gain of 11, Ryan underneath and almost intercepted. In fact, Bowman should have had it. He just wasn't expecting it.
I think he was gearing up to hit Devontae Freeman here, and this ball, Devontae Freeman stops because he sees Navarro Bowman there. We got an injured player again on the field here for San Francisco.
And it's Aaron Lynch again, who had been out, came back, and leaning over in pain. 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Let's check in for another game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the unbeaten Denver Broncos were down 17-0 at one point at Indy. They scored on a punt return to end the first half, and then on the first series of the second half, Emmanuel Sanders on a 64-yarder from Peyton Manning. It's 17-14 right now. Denver suddenly within 3 points in the 3rd quarter. Chris, Rondé, and Jed.
Thank you, Kurt. As Lynch makes his way over to the sideline, the Broncos working on a comeback there on the road, and the Falcons and Dan Quinn hoping for a comeback here as the third quarter is winding down. We're facing a 2nd down 10 from the 44 of San Francisco. Julio Jones, and it's knocked away. 3 49ers around him, but give Dante Johnson, the tallest of the group, at 6'2", credit.
Julio Jones right here in the slot, but watch Eric Reed right here come back. I'm sorry, as the outside corner comes in and overlaps to make a good play there. That, with a young guy, when you're in zone coverage, knowing when to do that, to overlap the route, have to make a play on an inside receiver, takes a long, long time to learn. That was a good play by them.
Need to get to the 34. Pressure coming. Pass for Roddy White, and he can't hold on. Marcus Cromartie was there covering him.
I talked about 4 plays ago about finishing, and watch Marcus Cromartie finish this play. This is a completion by Roddy White, but he stays with it after he misses the initial swipe. Watch his left hand continue to fight for this ball and knock it out. Good play by the young corner.
This secondary holding up like the Redskins secondary that was injured down in Atlanta. The Falcons didn't light it up, but they did win that game in overtime on a late interception return for a touchdown. 6 seconds remain in the third quarter. Ellington, the fair catch at the 8-yard line of the 49ers, and that is the end of 3. Matt Ryan of the Falcons trailing Blaine Gabbert and the 49ers. With Rondé Barber, not Chris Myers. The 49ers, it seems Rondé have spent this entire second half backed up. They started at their own 11, their own 3, and now their own 8-yard line. After a scoreless third quarter, we begin the fourth. San Francisco with a 17-13 lead. Gabbert standing at his own goal line, and now he's on the move. Flips it to Drone, who gets a first down and then gets out of bounds. The numbers through 3 quarters, the only turnover was an interception that went off the hands of Jerome Simpson.
How about that right there? That is unbelievable for an Atlanta offense that came in rushing the ball so well. Much credit to the San Francisco 49ers defense today.
Devontae Freeman, the leading rusher in the NFL, held to 4 yards. Drone goes into a crowd.
You talked about them being backed up. You know, close games in the NFL almost always turn into field position battles. Neither offense is lighting this up today. Neither one of them have. They're about around the same yardage, 230 to 270. So how the special teams has played today has been crucial, and Atlanta continues to back them up. San Francisco has to get a drive here to change this field position.
Sean Drone with 55 yards rushing. He's the leading rusher in the game, averaging almost 4 a carry.
Easy, short it. Hurry.
Gabbert has been the steady hand, and he's hit hard. Here comes a flag. Philip Wheeler knocked him down. And you said early how he takes a hit will be important.
He took one on the chin right there. It's a delayed blitz by Atlanta, who do not do this often. But listen to this hit that this young quarterback takes.
Illegal use of the hands, handle the face, number 36. This is declined. Personal foul, rubbing the passer, contact to the head of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Now watch how Blaine Gabbert gets in this huddle and leads this team. You're going to find a lot about this quarterback right now because we were looking for this hit. My question when I came to this game, what's he going to be like when he gets hit in the face? We'll see how he responds. Look at him. He's ready to go.
Well, he said it's important for me to go back in the huddle and show him I can be mentally tough. And he learned from his Jacksonville days. When you talked to him about how difficult that was, he said, yes, but you learn a lot. And given a chance in his second year here in San Francisco with Kaepernick watching.
and that penalty was helmet to helmet. If you're asking about the personal foul, Philip Wheeler, helmet to helmet contact on a quarterback is an absolute no-no. And that's where the 15-yard penalty came from.
And Wheeler, a former 49er briefly, he's also been with the Colts and the Raiders and Dolphins, but he's playing because of the injured Justin Durant. And it looks like the certified trainer is going to make the call to the official because that's from upstairs. Gabbert and the 49ers had no intention of bringing Blaine Gabbert out of this game. So that means Colin Kaepernick, who is the backup and the only active quarterback for San Francisco other than Gabbert, is coming into the game.
Let's take a look at this hit.
Listen to the crowd here.
Because of the vicious nature of the hit, I understand why they called down to bring him out. But listen to this crowd. They are booing Colin Kaepernick right now. But there's one thing to note, Chris. This offense has been moving the ball today. Let's see what Colin Kaepernick can do with this momentum.
And going over the concussion protocol, Kaepernick hands off to Jerome, who's knocked down right away.
Well, my question now, too, Chris, how long does it take for the independent doctor to certify or to get him back onto the football field? Is it a couple of tests? What is it? How long is Blaine Gabbert, who's had a great day, going to be standing on the sideline here while Colin Kaepernick tries to run this offense?
They'll make the decision. If he goes to the locker room, he's probably not going to come out. But if they got the right answers, he's available to come back. Otherwise, they'll say you're in the concussion protocol, and it's out of the hands of the team. Kaepernick with time down the middle of the field, incomplete. Vance McDonald got his hands on it but couldn't make the catch. It's been a problem all day for 49er receivers.
And whether it's been the wide receivers or in this case, Vance McDonald, the tight end. There was a throw last week that Colin Kaepernick made to number 11, and I was like, that is a pro throw. That was a pro throw by Colin Kaepernick. His receivers got to help him out and make that catch.
So Gabbert is standing up over on the sideline, wondering and waiting. But we're going to have to find out if the medical staff got the answers they wanted for him to be able to return. We have a timeout.
Timeout. San Francisco. This is their first.
Colin Kaepernick, after Gabbert was knocked out of the game. Gabbert given clearance, so not in the concussion protocol. The medical staff got the answers they needed through the certified trainer. It's safety first in the NFL. He's back in after Kaepernick stepped in for a moment on third down. He can run for a first, but he's got a long way to go, and he runs out of time and out of bounds around the 40.
Tough situation there for Colin Kaepernick. He walks off the sideline to a chorus of boos from the stadium, and all he could do was what he's asked to do. He hadn't warmed up, made a good pass.
And he's been a steady teammate and supporter of Gabbert under difficult circumstances. Right, I think there was a mix in the crowd too. Some fans were applauding the effort of Gabbert so far in this game, and certainly didn't want to see him come out, but it was necessary under the current rules of the NFL. And on fourth down, Pinion with a fair catch for Weems, and he has it at the 24 of Atlanta. It's turned into a tough defensive battle here. 17-13 with just over 13 to play.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. By McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. And by Sprint.
Back here at the site for Super Bowl 50, it's 91 days away. And the Falcons have had trouble running the football today against this 49er defense. Matt Ryan to throw, Devontae Freeman to catch. Slides down out of bounds at the 28.
The one consistent on this 49ers defense has been the play of those three interior linemen in this 3-4 defense. Ian Williams and Quint Dowell, Glenn Dorsey, they've been doing the job this year. They've had some issues on the back end, had some injuries this past 2 weeks, but these guys up front, these hogs up front, been playing well all year.
On 2nd and 6, Freeman His best run of the day as he gets a first down to the 35-yard line. For the Falcons, an important trip out west because the Panthers beat Green Bay today. Carolina's undefeated. In the NFC South, the Saints lost to Tennessee, and the Buccaneers are trailing by 8 to the Giants at home with 10 minutes remaining in that game. And for the 49er young secondary, injury-riddled, they've held up well against Matt Ryan so far. Freeman on a delay. Gang tackled at the 35.
Just the early penetration on this San Francisco D-line is what's disrupting these plays here. It's whether it's a linebacker hitting the gap or whether it's Tony Gerard, Eddie right there that make that play bounce around. There's nowhere for Devontae Freeman to go, and then just gang tackling by this unit. It's why they're so inefficient running the football today.
He's only averaging a yard a carry. He came in averaging over 4.5 a carry. Ryan's pass to Julio Jones is incomplete, and what a hit laid on the ace receiver by Jacoski Tart.
Excellent hit by Tart here. Julio Jones is right here. He's going to run a slant. And then the safety just inside. Look at this hit. We know he could do that. He took some bad angles last week on the big plays against St. Louis. But this is a physical young safety, one that they really, really like.
On 3rd and 9, the blitz. And they get to Matt Ryan. Navarro Bowman.
I talked to Navarro Bowman the other day and I asked him how he was doing. He said, you know what, I'm not quite there. Well, I think he woke up this morning and realized that he's there again. A lot of pressure by this front, and Devontae Freeman's charged with blocking, has no chance. Powers right through him. Man, this kid's playing his tail off today.
Second sack of the game. And Matt Bosher is in to punt it away to Bruce Ellington. Whistle before the kick. Probably have a delay here. Six penalties on the Falcons, 4 on San Francisco.
Illegal substitution on the defense, 12 men in formation prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
So that call is on the 49ers, but not enough to help for a first down after the sack. So it'll just give Bosher a little more punting room. This Falcons team is one of the top scoring fourth quarter teams in the league, 3rd in fact, but a scoreless second half and about 10.5 remaining in the 4th. Ellington, fair catch called for. You have to give him room, and he hauls it in across the 26-yard line. Blaine Gabbert and the 49er offense have the football. The notorious Conor McGregor has taken over this season of The Ultimate Fighter.
They call me an instigator. What the? A troublemaker. A wild card and a rebel. So don't miss an all-new Ultimate.
Best field position starting in the second half. Gabbert comes out firing. Catch made for a first down. It's Vance McDonald. That's the 4th catch of a 49er tight end in this game. Selleck has 2 touchdown catches, and of course the trade of Vernon Davis to Denver has opened up more room.
This is nice to see from the San Francisco, if you're San Francisco 49ers, sets up in the pocket, sound base, delivers it on time for a big completion. Good job, Blaine Gabbert.
Kendall Gaskins in at running back. They've used 3 all afternoon. He has the football. Along with Gaskins, it's been Sean Drone most of the time, and Pierre Thomas. Both of them again picked up this week, carrying the load on the ground along with Gabbert.
I mean, I really like how Blaine Gabbert has been decisive letting go of the football. It was a simple 10-yard completion, 11-yard completion on that last throw, but he hit his back foot and the ball was out. You weren't seeing that in this offense over the past couple of weeks.
You're seeing decisiveness is what you're saying, and that was one of the knocks on Kaepernick. The indecisiveness was hurting everybody. They've been sacked 28 times as Ellington carries and spins for a first down. Creative on offense.
This guy is an exciting player for San Francisco, and Coy Bierman does a really good job. You'll see him right here, but this ball goes like this, and he has him. He's doing his job. He's in the right place, but he's able to outrun him, get to the corner, and pick up a first down.
And actually, he's a little bit short here, so it's going to be third and about a yard. I thought where the line was, I thought he had crossed it. So this is an important down with Gaskins, who, remember, on fourth and short when they gambled early, got the carry. He does here, and I don't know. Even that extra surge may not have been enough.
They're marking it's definitely short of the first down. Now you have a decision, right? If you're Tom Sula, you have the lead. It's 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
The way your defense is playing, Rondé, you don't want to gamble here and give Matt Ryan a short field. Don't you want to kick it deep?
I could see it both ways. You got 2 wins on the season. There's no reason.
You're saying go for it.
There's no reason holding it out. I mean, you got to figure this Atlanta offense does such a good job when in crunch time getting down the field when they need to. You get a first down here, though, and you extend this drive, it helps you.
That's how far.
Might be a risk worth taking.
Jim Tom Sula, when he gambled early, was down inside the 10, and looks like he's going to go for it. Of course, he could just try to draw him offside. Gabbert, who missed a couple of plays when he got hit hard, not by his own choice, by the way, is out there on fourth and short. I mean, this could be a tipping point in the game.
It's a big moment here for both teams. Atlanta has a chance to stuff them here, give the ball back to their offense on the plus side of the 50.
Inside handoff, Bruce Miller, the fullback.
It all depends on the spot here, Chris. The head lineman there coming in from our side of the field has his foot spotted beyond the first down line.
And not to make excuses, but this is where it's so difficult for even the officiating crew. We've talked about this on the league tapes about what they see going into the pile.
Yeah.
They saw a first down, and without hesitation, they gave it to him.
You generally see nothing. I mean, look at this picture. This is the picture that the head linemen have, and as soon as the fullback sticks his nose in there, how do you know where the ball is? You can't see it underneath that pile.
And there's not even enough there for a challenge, but I think that's what Dan Quinn is going to do anyway. Well, let's uncover the video. He's got people upstairs, offensively and defensively, that watch specifically for him.
Yeah, and this is a situation, though, where I mean, you got to think that there's not going to be enough evidence for him to overturn this, but we'll see when we come back from break.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now.
Rondé and I were talking with Fox Rules analyst Mike Pereira during the break, who watches all of these back at the Fox Network Center. And it looked like the far side official made the call early, challenged, although ruled on the field a first down.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand as a first down for San Francisco. Atlanta will be charged with their first timeout.
And that was the point, Rondé. There's just not enough here to overturn anything.
Well, also, your fullback his butt never gets on the ground here, so it's not a matter of his knee being down or anything of that nature. And the surge right there, from our perspective, you see the marker there, and he's past the line. And maybe a silly challenge by Dan Quinn, but you got to give yourself a chance.
Worth a shot, but two big moments there. They only have 2 timeouts here in a tight game remaining, and what a gutsy call from this part of the field on 4th and short for Jim Tom Sula. His team converts, And Sean Drone runs to midfield. Well, the time of possession, Atlanta has a slight edge, but their only touchdown came on a touchdown catch and then carry into the end zone by Devontae Freeman.
Well, you remember, too, that series of drive for that score was set up by a huge play to Julio Jones right before the half. Otherwise, they've been going nowhere.
Gabbard, and it's intercepted. It was a little bit behind Vance McDonald, and Vic Beasley, the defensive lineman and #1 draft pick, dropped back in coverage and picked it off.
Vic Beasley's going to be right here, and he's usually a rusher, but they're running seams. You see both of those tight ends. That's a seam route, and I don't think Blaine Gabbard expected number 44 to be deep there in coverage. What a nice play by the rookie outside linebacker.
Second interception of the game for Gabbard, and Beasley making a big defensive play. The first one wasn't Gabbard's fault. That one a tough throw and in a key situation after they had just converted for a first down. So now at the 33 of Atlanta. 1st and 10 Falcons. Just over 7 minutes to play. Matt Ryan's throw in the area of Julio Jones, incomplete. The coverage by Marcus Cromartie, a second-year free agent from Wisconsin, has been a tough out all day.
I'm telling you what, they may have found something in Marcus Cromartie here. This was really good coverage on Julio Jones. We've seen him be physical in the run game. We've seen him affect the passing game, and it does it again right there.
Matt Ryan has 30 career game-winning drives. He's had to do it a few times this year, 3 times as Atlanta swept the NFC East teams. And that's on target to Roddy White for a first down to the 47 of San Francisco. His first catch of the game.
This is, in my opinion, Matt Ryan's best throw. It's just going to be an inside seam route by Roddy White, and he usually hits it on time. It's a timing route, back foot hits, and he lets it go, and his receivers, these 2 receivers are on page with him almost every single time.
A gain of 20. Julio Jones is alone over there and steps out of bounds. Let's check in for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, the Colts blew a 17-0 lead against Denver. It was tied at 17 when Ahmad Bradshaw takes it in from 8 yards out, putting the Colts back up by a touchdown with just over 10 minutes left to go in regulation. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thanks, Kurt. And that would be a shocking upset given the way the Colts lost Monday night and the way the Broncos have been playing defensively behind Peyton Manning as well on offense. Close snap. Pass is caught by Justin Hardy, who gets down around the 32. And that's good enough for a Falcon first down. Matt Ryan has had some problems from center exchange throughout the season, but he made that work.
Well, that was a terrible snap again. They've had problems with that over the course of the past couple of games. You saw Navarro Bowman trying to blitz into that A-gap. I don't know how he wasn't offsides there, but maybe that affected the rolling snap. Something they're going to have to get fixed in the coming weeks.
1st and 10. Matt Ryan. Underneath, that's Devontae Freeman, who gets inside the 20. And that's another first down for the Falcons. Matt Ryan loves these situations. He seems really comfortable. That's the nickname Matty Ice. But he said it doesn't matter whether it's early in the game or late in the game. The pace of the game, the experience he's had in this makes him feel very comfortable.
Absolutely. You know, experience, it breeds the understanding of the situation. You can't replicate what you have to do in games. You can't practice it like it is in a game. They've had so many opportunities for it this year. That's why they're so proficient at it.
Freeman is a receiver, top of your screen. Matt Ryan goes underneath to Jacob Tamme, who is still on his feet, and he's inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal Falcons.
This San Francisco defense has been pretty good all day long, and on this drive, you just feel like they're on their heels. But contrarily, great effort by this Atlanta offense, especially Jacob Tamme here, protecting the football, of course, because you don't want to turn the ball over here, which has been a problem for them in the past couple of games. But bouncing off 3 or 4 tacklers to get that first down.
And that's the 6th catch of the game for Jacob Tamme. Pressure coming. Matt Ryan's pass is caught right away. Julio Jones is brought down.
They've just completely abandoned the running game. They got the ball back here with about 7 minutes left in this half, and you think that they might be patient, but Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, has said we've been good in these situations because of the arm of Matt Ryan, and they're leaning on that right now.
He's attempted 43 passes, Rondé. He's hit the 300-yard mark, but only one touchdown for this Atlanta offense today. Matt Ryan, end zone, knocked away. Trying to go to Julio Jones. Dante Johnson was there.
Great play by this young corner. Asked Julio yesterday, why don't they throw jump balls to you in the red zone? They tried one right there, but just a good play by a young corner. These two guys, you got to give them credit, man. They are playing their butt off today against one of the best, well, actually, in my mind, the best wide receiver in football.
No runs, 8 passes this drive. It's 3rd and goal.
Julio Jones, top of your screen. One-on-one again.
Matt Ryan, can he get it to the end zone? Catch made, but no end zone. Justin Hardy goes down at the 2, and it's 4th down.
And now if you're Dan Quinn, what do? Do you go for the 3 points to give yourself an opportunity? And they are. They're going to bring Matt Bryant onto the field here. Get the 3 points, hope that your defense holds, and you get one more opportunity to drive down and win it with a field goal.
And Ronnie, I think he can do that because he has a reliable kicker and a quarterback who he knows in the closing moments can get him another shot.
Yeah, Jimmy Ward right there. Great tackle. It was a little underneath type of route, trying to pick the defender, but he played over top of it and was able to get him down, hold them to a field goal opportunity.
A 19-yard try. Good work by Bosher handling the snap. It was a little bit awkward there, but Bryant is 3 for 3 today, and it's now a 1-point game in the late stages. First points of the second half, a field goal. This has been a defensive battle by each of these teams.
It really has, and I am really impressed with guys thrust into the having to play here for San Francisco. There's been really no letdown from the guys that they've had that are injured. Just got to give them credit. And if you're wondering why they didn't kick an onside there, you got to trust your defense here. You got 2 timeouts. You got 3.5 minutes.
Well, some 49er alumni here at the stadium today, and of course Dwight Clark. Every 49er fan remembers the catch, and the security is tight. They're getting ready for the Super Bowl. They said, we had great catch, but you got to show us your ID or you don't get in here. Dwight Clark, a good sport about it.
You know what, Dwight Clark, he should have said, my ID is my face. Come on.
My catch is my ID. And Blaine Gabbert would like a catch like that right now because the pressure is on the 49er offense, even though they lead by 1. Kendall Gaskins for a short game.
Absolutely, the pressure is on San Francisco's offense here to convert a first down.
Falcons just used a timeout, Ronnie. They'll have 1 left.
And exactly, make Atlanta use their timeouts here. You know, in my mind, you have an athletic quarterback here in Blaine Gabbert. Run some play action, maybe a boot, get him out of the pocket where he has the option to throw it or to run it and pick up some positive yardage.
It's been an exciting game. You just never know. 2-6 San Francisco with a guy who hasn't started at quarterback in 2 years, going up against 6-2 Atlanta and Matt Ryan. And it's a 1-point game with just under 3 minutes to play. Atlanta will have 1 more timeout. 49ers have 2.
I just believe if Atlanta's defense gets a stop, you got Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, guys that have dealt with this situation all year long. I got to feel like they're going to go down and score. So San Francisco needs a first down here.
Not only Matt Ryan, Matt Bryant, who is a clutch kicker. And they're playing it safe with Gaskins across the 25-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down. And you'll still have the 2-minute warning. So it looks like Atlanta wants to, at the moment, save that 1 timeout. And, you know, you could run a quarterback option here with Gabbert. He has shown the ability, Rondé, 5 runs and 30 yards today.
Well, everybody knows San Francisco's offense back in the day. They had that option, that repass option with Colin Kaepernick, and he'd get out of the pocket. It was impossible to stop him. Of course, defenses have caught up with that, but they keep 3 tight ends on the field here. They're going to go conservative again. I don't know if I agree with if they run the ball here.
They don't, and it is Blaine Gabbert. Can he get the first down? Yes, and he stays in bounds, provided his slide started past that first down marker.
I'm telling you what, I should be an offensive coordinator. Wanted movement out of the pocket with Blaine Gabbert, the opportunity, the option, I guess I should say, to throw it or run it, boot. Oh, whatever. One of us suggested it. We're a great team. First down, San Francisco.
All right, we have reached the 2-minute warning at a 1-point game. Barber and Chris Myers in the 49er offense just put the pressure on the Atlanta defense. 2 minutes. Atlanta only has one timeout, and they're going to have to use it. 49ers likely to keep it on the ground and try and run the clock out as best they can. Kendall Gaskins with his best run of the day. Up to the 38.5-yard line, and the timeout quickly coming from Atlanta. They are out of timeout.
Well, the number 3 run defense in the league needed a stop well short of where these 9 yards that they got right here. This clock is clearly in San Francisco's favor here if they get another first down here. Actually, if they get a first down, the game is over. I think he'll be able to kneel on it.
All they need is a first down, and after a gain of, we'll call it 8, they only need 2 yards, and they have 2 chances to do it. And again, the clock cannot be stopped by Atlanta. Of course, an offensive penalty would certainly hurt things for San Francisco.
They can do it. This is a huge win for San Francisco. Huge win for Blaine Gabbert. And in my mind, and your mind too, Chris, a huge win for this Niners defense.
Gaskins, no first down yet. It'll be 3rd and short, and the clock runs.
When you ask about the story of the day, it's going to be that Devontae Freeman has 12 yards rushing on 12 carries.
And that Blaine Gabbert has 2 touchdown passes, and they did give him credit for the first down. Of course, anything under the 2-minute time frame would have to be reviewed, so it's game, set, match. 49ers can sit on the ball and get their 3rd win of the year.
Listen to this crowd react. The ones that are out here supporting this team still definitely appreciate the effort. Nothing better than getting in victory formation to win a football game.
And appropriate that Blaine Gabbert, are they going to review the spot now? Nothing like killing the drama of the moment.
Oh, we were getting ready to make a great call there, and Tony Correnti's got to go to the sideline.
Well, the officials want their airtime as well, unless they're checking the clock. But I do think the 2 4th down gambles by Jim Tomsula, and yes, they made them both, and one didn't turn out, the other one did into a touchdown, but it showed something about the aggressive nature and the belief in his quarterback.
The previous play will go under review.
Of course. One of the reasons that they went with Blaine Gabbert over Colin Kaepernick. So they'll review the spot, and we will have that for you in just a moment. It was ruled a first down on the field, an officials review, and they've taken a closer look.
Well, I would be surprised, Chris, just considering the 2 reviews that we've had already today, that there's enough evidence to mark this short of the line.
Well, before they even called it a first down, why didn't they just bring out the chains? You could see your initial search here, they quickly called it a first down.
I mean, look at Gaskins hitting right there, and just our yellow line is superimposed, obviously. It's not official, but he's over that line on that picture.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand. First down for San Francisco. Would the play clock operator please reset the play clock to 10 seconds. 10 seconds, thank you.
So they can run the clock out here. They had it right the first time. I think Atlanta is still a playoff team, Rondé, with the fast start. And you tell me, even if they coming in here at 6-2, even if they went 500 the rest of the way, you'd figure 10 wins should get them into the postseason, even with Carolina undefeated at the moment.
Well, it's such a muddied mess, really, in the NFC that, you know, teams that only have 3 wins are still in this. So, yeah, the fast start has helped them, but they got to figure out their red zone issues. You decide not to go for it on 4th down there, hope to put it on your defense, but you had an opportunity in red zone again for the 2nd week in a row, and they weren't able to do it. And back to what we were saying about San Francisco, Chris, you get in victory formation and you win a game with Blaine Gabbert as your starting quarterback.
His first win as an NFL quarterback since 2012, his first start since 2013, and the 49ers at home this year now are 3-2. They've not allowed more than 20 points in any of the games, and at now 3-6 maybe. And Gabbard said, look, I wasn't a savior in Jacksonville when I was drafted and then run out of there. I'm not a savior here. I just want to create some energy and get some touchdowns, and he did that today.
I liked his point that he is 1/11th of the equation. It wasn't all on Colin Kaepernick when they were losing. It's not all on Blaine Gabbert as they win today. But it was a team effort. Give credit to the defense, credit to this quarterback. Get a big win against one of the good teams in football this year.
And the Falcons fall to 6-3. Both of these teams will go on a bye next week. And the 49ers, behind Blaine Gabbert and a stingy defense, defeat the Falcons 17-16. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, our entire crew. Stick around for the postgame show with Kurt Menefee coming up.